I'm the president of the board for the girls softball group out here out of AIM now, and we are going to be utilizing Franklin, but with this requirement, we could possibly use that as well, because I know at Franklin you can only use like softies, like little foam balls, if you will. Out there we can get in real practice, we can get in real fielding work. I mean, the possibilities are endless with that building, really. Observation deck where the stairs are in that main, where that office is at in that garage. Put an observation deck up there for parents to hang out, oversee all lanes as everything's going on. Yeah. Economical impact was one of the first things Mr. McCord said. For me, it's bringing people in from out of town. I know last year we had to travel to Frankfurt to get to the nearest indoor facility, and it was tiny. I mean, it was no bigger than this room. But bringing in teams from out of town to be able to do that, and then, I mean, community impact, just everything that I could offer to this diverse community, especially over there on that west side of town where Melbourne's at. I have a ton of clientele that comes and sees me for whatever reason, personal advice. They just want to do something. Like, I have kids helping me mow and pick weeds and just little stuff like that, like just giving them a purpose.
That's good.
But yeah, just for me, it would just be to redevelop it, turn it into an indoor sports facility at a very low cost.
Yeah. TJ, do you have any idea? I mean, you mentioned you have $60,000 in grant funds.
That's correct.
You know, how would you fund the rest of that? It seems like it'd be a pretty substantial cost to remodel all of that.
It would be. A lot of it would probably come from donation from, I know quite a few people down in Florida that could ship me turf.
Got it.
Because people resurface their turf all the time, being involved in USSSA, NSA, all of that. In Indiana, I'm in talks with Tim Foster, Brian and Lori Knipp, about getting turf donated to me. Just because, again, I mean,
that's a good idea.
There's no offer for any of this in this town.
No, you're right. No, I do think, you are right, that the indoor sports facilities, we don't have them. And we have a lot of youth, and they're more involved in sports all the time, which is, I think, good to a degree.
Yeah.
My wife and I are kind of back and forth on that. But I do love the idea of getting the phones out of their hands. So everything you're saying is right. So I appreciate the work you're doing, and I think you're right. We don't have this kind of space today. I don't know the right space for it, if this may be it, but it's something we need. So I'm glad you're thinking about it.
So is your intention to always have this as a nonprofit, or are you?
Maybe at some point go for profit, but right now, Mr. McCord, I love what I do. Like, I don't care about the money side of it. I just want to give back. That's it. I mean, Logansport, I'm born and raised here. They did so much for me as far as, I mean, sports. Like, let me give it back. I mean, maybe at some point, but I can't say yes or no to that right now.
Okay. From the TIF side of things, it does make a difference, because a for-profit business would bring property taxes in, and it would be going to everything. Your nonprofit, that building wouldn't have any, would be no property tax if you're a nonprofit. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else?
It's a good question.
What's the impact? I mean, as far as property taxes, what is the fraction of what the city wouldn't make off of that, as far as that being a nonprofit per year?
Approximately between $6,000 and
$6,000 and $10,000 for that property.
So.
and up, of course.
Sounds a little steep, but okay.
Wish you had that price, right?
Yeah, I don't know, you just.
That seems steep, but.
Check the assessment and see what, I don't know. That's definitely a possibility, but I think you'd want.
Is that an assessor's value, or is that just
Well, no.
is that just your real estate background?
This is what I do for a living.
Yeah.
You figure 200,000 commercial,
Yep.
that's 6,000,
Okay.
it's 3%. So if you're at 500, that's 15,000. if we got 4 million, that's 30,000. 120,000.
120,000, yeah.
So I mean, it's simple to figure out, it's just where they're gonna,
Where they're actually gonna put it.
yeah.
Right,
Because it might not be that high, but it could be.
yeah.
Bill, what was the appraisal that came back on that building as is? It was like 17,000?
Yeah. And you're paying more than that in property taxes almost?
Well,
You
the
think?
taxes on that would be, you're looking at about
Assessment.
3,500 or so.
I was gonna say the assessment's about 135, 140 right now.
Right now, the current value, to do nothing to 135,000. If you were gonna make it a home, you live there, $1,300.
Right.
1%.
Right.
2% for rentals.
Yeah, but that'd be the whole thing,
Correct.
not a portion. It's still committed as commercial. If you have 1 or 2 in there, it's still commercial.
Rental. Not residential.
It's still 3% across the board. You can't take a building and separate it out like square footage and say, well, I'm only gonna pay this for this, and the rest of it's commercial.
Your deal, yeah, all one, because you have a mix going on. I'm telling if you aren't gonna make it commercial at all, then it's residential.
Right, then that's different.
Yeah.
Residential apartment units.
Yeah, then you go down to 2%.
Right.
Tomorrow, if he gets the property at $130,000, he has a commercial business, he's gonna be in the $3,000 to $4,000 range.
Right,
If he puts nothing into it.
right,
Yeah, that's how.
right.
Now, if we're in Texas, it's about 15,000. And if you go next door, it's about 22,000.
Yeah.
Illinois. So,
Yeah.
we're lucky where we're at, I think.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So, I mean, like, honestly, are we more worried about the property tax or what we can do in the community? That's just an open-ended question right there.
Well, here's the thing that I guess I would say, in general, it's wonderful to sit where we sit because we see so many people with so many wonderful ideas and
Right.
dreams and that kind of stuff. The reality is sitting where we sit is that sometimes people have dreams. We've given money people to fix up exterior facades and it never happens and they go out of business and da-da-da-da-da-da. In this case, it's kind of interesting is that, we would love to see that property become something special. I mean, there is a plan that people are talking about to have from basically where the event center is, at Riverside Park, all the way down to 6th Street. That would be developed into some riverfront type stuff, and you're just across the river at this property. So I've had some people saying to me, make sure they make the exterior really beautiful because it's gonna be,
course.
okay. And that's like all these hopes and dreams for the next 15 years. So it's like, okay, all right. And so, in our case, and say now, from just the side of, it is in a TIF district, so we would get some share of property tax, any improvements that were made above the value is now, we would get something out of that. I don't know that the value would increase tremendously, the incremental value. I don't, the other question, I don't know what I mean, obviously you've identified there's a need in the community for this kind of thing.
Huge.
It's on the Parks Board, they talk about an indoor facility all the time that they need to have, for all kind of things, pickleball and, all kind of things
I
inside.
think it's definitely a quality of life in these cities. I mean, if you have that available, that's huge.
It's really nice. I have siblings that come from Indy, and they're just like, in the winter especially, there's- what is there? We want to come see you, what are we going to do?
Right.
And so, go outside. Go outside and come outside, all that. And the snow, it's fine. But, no, sports facilities are good, so. Okay, great.
I think our, go ahead, Aaron.
I was gonna come up and talk about planning side.
Sure. Love it.
Thank you, TJ.
Yep, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Before you make an agreement.
You think we should take some information?
Right. So no matter what you guys do, I just want to give you the information on all the 3 different options through my department. Obviously, parking's going to be an issue with all 3 of them. With that being said, if all the parking can be interior, great. We'll have to calculate how much parking they have to provide, but in that, if they're not going to be able to provide the amount of parking, they have to go through a process to get that approved. So if they wouldn't approve the amount of parking that they're actually required to have, then that use wouldn't be allowed. So just something to take into consideration. With that being said, I'm just going to tell you the uses that are being proposed today, and that is in the neighborhood business district. So professional office, 2 single family or a 1 single family would be allowed in that district, as well as the co-working space and retail, depending upon the size, but based off what she had said, that's allowed in that district. The recreational facility or charitable organization, depending upon getting more information from him, would be a special exception. So no matter what type of thing he would be doing, it would have to go to BZA. So if you would choose that route, then you would want to have something in there stipulating that they get approval before any transfer or anything like that. And then for the contractor, it's not allowed in that district at all. So we would also have to go through that process to the BZA. So before you would do anything with them, we would want to make sure that that would be approved prior to. But I guess something in there stating maybe approval or, because if any exterior changes or the parking or any of those things may have to go to the board anyway, is just knowing exactly everything and calculating that out. So just as you're making an agreement, just understanding what those different uses for that property and what's currently allowed. So I just wanted to let you guys know that.
Thank you. Okay, so for the moment this is tabled, we'll have to come up with some kind of a measuring device, and we'll probably be back in touch with all you guys, and I don't know whether we may even want to have some kind of a tour we all take to kind of see that, or maybe we meet them there and they kind of go through what they're I don't know. I guess when you think it through, you know.
Whatever we do, it needs to happen pretty quick. If we want to have it done by September 25th.
Yeah.
So we need to get together.
Right.
Like after this meeting.
Okay. All right, well, thank you guys for your time. We'll continue to work on how to handle this. Next, we go to Resolution 2024-343, which is the pre-demolition asbestos inspection.
Now the fun stuff, asbestos.
Yeah.
As you know, we own a property on Ray Street. We're buying it for redevelopment. We're going to knock it down. Well, the permitting process has got requirements, and one of them is you have to have an asbestos inspection report and approved by the state. So I've gotten 2 estimates. The one you saw is the cheapest, and I think it is for $2,880. ACM Engineering and Environmental Services, a contact given to me by Aaron. They've used them before. Our other estimate was in the $45,000 to $5,000 range. So.
That's just an inspector?
Yep. That's, remediation would be a separate game. I have Jacob talking to BCA about potential to include that into our grant process if there are issues. Let's just hope there's not, so we can take that house down. So that's where we're at.
Okay. Any questions or comments?
He's always got good news all the time.
Well, down.
Yeah, just wait.
We don't even have a demo and estimate yet, but
Yes.
that's coming. It's going to look nicer. I'm also getting bids for what that area would cost to get remediated, period. We're working with Ready 2.0 possibilities. Aside from that, we had a pretty low estimate come in from Logansport Utilities on burying those lines over there, because they're pretty ugly to look at. It was actually south of $20,000, which surprised me. So I'm working on that. That could potentially come to you also.
So the hotel, you're wanting to put a hotel there, right?
Correct.
Did you get that already signed, dotted, and let's move forward?
No. No, actually, where it would be is the question, because there's some subsurface issues all along that area. Originally, we wanted them on the old coal plant, which is further west. There are issues down there that are going to be fixed, but they're more expensive. So now we're looking at getting them closer to the event center.
I think that would be better.
But it's geographically tight. There's an easement going through there, there's, a river, things like that. So I think we're able to get it placed there, but we're working on what the remediation cost would be, getting that to them. We're still looking for investors. The corporate's on board, but they want some local investors too. So I'm confident in the project, it's just not an announcement.
I agree, I think it'd be as close to the event center as possible would make the synergy of those two be a better deal.
And they have an event in 10 days, so
Beautiful.
their clock's a ticking.
Yes, it is.
All right, I'll make a motion to accept Resolution 2024-343, not to exceed $2,880, to be paid to ACM Engineering and Environmental Services. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by sign of aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
And Mike, I am going to abstain.
Okay.
from that.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Next up is a property that, this has all happened pretty suddenly. As you know, All Saints own a few parking lots throughout downtown Logansport. There's one in particular that's on Eel River Avenue and 2nd Street. It's like a little rectangular pie-shaped, 2 parking lots into one. Recently, a sign went up, is for sale, so Aaron and Jacob and myself started meeting about it, talking to the realtor. At the city level, and I'm just throwing this out there, we haven't gotten in front of this. We didn't want to become a Chase Davis again. We asked Mike if he would sign an offer contingent on RDC approval, so he didn't go outside his bounds on that. We wanted to get in there, so we didn't get behind somebody else if you're interested.
So why are you interested in it?
We are interested in the parking lot because I don't want it to be a parking lot, simply. We don't have a full plan at this point. This all happened this week. But our perspective from the city side is that area in particular doesn't need another parking lot. And that's what it is. It's a bare piece of land that's kind of torn up. Therefore, we made the offer just to see what you thought. If you don't like it, if you don't want to be interested, then we'll back out. I'm also aware, and I don't know who in the details, but there's another offer out there. And I don't know how much, I don't know 100% what their plan is for it. I don't want to get involved, I don't want to get in front of private development, but I don't want just somebody buying a piece of land so they can
There's the
have a parking lot.
piece of land there.
I mean, if we could purchase it and then we could list it for sale, right? I mean, to the private, and then we just know, rather than not
It's
know.
all based on that whole appraisal
Right.
formula, but yes.
My only concern is the price, how they arrived at $110,000.
And I'm not certain either. I mean, it sounds like a lot. I know what we did for Bill Thompson's lot over there at 55,000, I
Right.
think it was. This is a pretty sizable lot. It does face across the street from the river. It's not in a flood zone. I mean, I could just see townhomes, condos, something other than just an empty use parking lot.
The only thing I see, because I know the company pretty well, is we're hindering that company right now.
Who's that? Walters?
Walters. Big time, caliber.
Yeah, I know that Aaron speak to this. I don't know about hindering. I know there's stuff that's allowed and not allowed when it comes to parking cars there. So I don't know what the rules explicitly
What
are.
I'm saying is they have so much business that they're taking it someplace else now, so we're not getting any of that money. That's what I'm saying. And I know that for a fact.
Because there's not enough room to park cars there? or-
Well, we talked to them about, to the Catholic, I forget her name now, and she said, we wanted to rent it, and she said, absolutely no way. I said, well, we need area for parking. This is gonna be a lot bigger than Walters thought about being. So with that being said, they're turning down business and it's going to another, West Lafayette, Zionsville. All that is going to other places now because they don't have the facility there to accommodate the amount of work that they do actually have.
And I will speak to that. So they currently have been in violation of expanding where they're parking. The only reason why that use is allowed is because they've gone to BZA. So any other future stuff, they would actually have to go back to BZA and see whether it would be allowed or not. So anything adding to what they're existing right now would actually have to go back to the board because that's not a typical use for a downtown, and so it's not actually allowed in our downtown. It's just been one that was approved way back when, and so has continued on that, but
So
any
it was
expansion.
It was parking for All Saints, and that's the approved use, but in
Yeah,
terms
so
of
a parking
having.
lot with a permitted use is allowed.
Yeah.
A parking lot for a non-permitted use or expanding on their parking for
Got
a
it.
use that was approved for only a specific amount of parking.
Yeah.
Has to go back through the process.
Well, one time it was Johnson Ford. So it's always been a parking lot.
Yeah, because Burger
Walters
Chevrolet
has
was.
approval in the gray area.
Right next
The
door,
blue area, not because that's all same.
Correct.
But there's cars there, obviously.
Right.
So
Mhm.
if they were the group, that's the other group, if they purchased it,
it'd be
they still couldn't
contingent,
park there, but they would have to go through. the-
yeah, it'd be contingent upon BZA approving it or
Yeah.
not. So whether or not they purchase it, they would have to go through that process. And I cannot say whether they would approve it or not. We do have a lot of problems with commercial garages in
Yeah.
the city, and that board has had a lot of issues with those. I'm not saying that they wouldn't approve it or not. I'm just saying that I know that that's something that that board continually deals with throughout the city, so,
Vehicle sitting waiting to be serviced or whatever.
yeah, yeah.
I'm not, like, I don't have money into it, but I'm pretty close to all the people that work there, and the manager.
Got it.
And they came from West Lafayette, and I knew him very well when he was over there, the manager
This
was
is a
there.
new business that bought,
Yeah,
so they run the business that Walters still owns the property. So-
correct. They don't ever, they just buy businesses and they rent the property back off of you.
So are they wanting to build another building to do, work on more vehicles, or are they, is
No, they
is this
just
a
need-
parking
They
issue?
just need parking. I mean,
They want it,
They want,
basically what they use currently for their parking is vehicles awaiting repair. So it's not parking for customer parking or
Right.
employee parking, it's for the business parking.
Cars that are-
So it's for the cars being repaired.
Right.
So, for instance, Rusty probably turned around 25 cars a week to 30. This company can turn between 40 to 60 in a week. So, but if you cut their legs from underneath them, they're only going to do 25 to 30.
I will vouch, I do a big business. I mean, we had a fender bender and we took it there and we were like 139th on the waiting list.
Oh, my gosh.
This was just a year ago.
And I would say on the plan commission side, it's not cutting their feet, it's allowing what has always been allowed and not giving them additional. Whether or not that board will or not, I do not know. But currently, it's only allowed to be on that site. And even though the other site that is owned by All Saints was previously to park cars for a dealership, that was a grandfathered in use, and so now that it's been used for parking just for the church, it reverts back. So it would have to be a use that's allowed in the downtown district, which would typically be like a restaurant, retail, commercial apartments, those type of things, unless the board would vote differently. Just so you guys understand.
Well, it's funny because in the social media world, there's lots of talk, with Rich Voorhees and his gang, of retail below and, historic things above, look like historic things, and you are close to Bankers Row there. So is the space, the gray area there now, the cars they've got, looks to me like you can throw quite a few cars there, but it's not zoned for that, right? Is that the issue? Looks to me like you could put in.
So technically, there's some compliance issues right now. They're supposed to have a fence around any car awaiting repair, which they don't. Walters was pretty good at, if I told them there's some inoperable vehicles there that were dented up and stuff like that, they would remove them or put them inside or what have you. But the new business has definitely gone outside the amount of the parking and had been parking on All Saints lot and then would remove them. So it's one of those things where I just can only regulate what the board approved. If they want to change what the board approved, they can always go back. They can always ask to add to it. But I can only allow for what was approved by that board because it's not an automatic use in that district. So, just as a side note, for that blue area, that's the process they would have to go through.
Looks like a great place for the farmer's market.
Variables.
Let's stir up some trouble over you.
Memorial home too, what about that one? I just wanted to bring it to you. I could see it being something greater. I do want to, the concern I had, if you do own it, you just need to be understandable that you're going to be playing the game of you're parking on my property game.
Oh, yeah.
And so if you need to figure that into your decision making. That I'm not naive to know that if the city owns it, they're just not going to park there. So it's just a variable.
And I guess that doesn't mean that you couldn't sell it to them if the board would approve it either.
All right. If that's,
If that's
That's what we
who
want
wants it as well. I don't know. That's not
It
privy
could
to
be
our.
It could be a tactic to get what you want them to do, though. Like, we'll say this, but with
Fencing and-
this and that, whatever, and then they get what they need, and we get a compromise. I'm just,
yeah, right. All Saints, I'll say, All Saints has done a nice job of putting the greenery, and I don't know if some of that was required, but
Yeah.
with the trees and, it really does make the parking lot look less like a parking lot,
And that's even two different elevations in that area too, so it's
Yeah.
an interesting lot.
Yeah.
obviously.
Very interesting.
Okay.
I guess if you purchase it, it doesn't stop something from happening with that either.
Right.
So it's totally up to you guys. I just wanted to let you know if that is the negotiation thing. I don't know for sure. That would just be the process for them on that end.
thoughts? If you're-
I just wouldn't want to purchase it for the price they want. That's a lot of, just sitting out there waiting for us to develop it. That'd be a lot of money out there for nothing, for a long period of time, because unless Bill got something up his sleeve.
Ask them on this one. This all hit pretty fast. I don't have anything right now that would go there.
Right.
I can see things visibly, I can see things with vision that, you are protected, as you see in the resolution, we have to get 2 appraisals. So we are protected a little bit on market. And if it comes back at 74, at least we wouldn't pay more than that, but they could say, well, we're moving on. You wouldn't be tied into 110. You are protected by 2 appraisals.
But we could pay over appraised.
You can pay over if city council approves it.
I mean, it could be 3 houses, it could be 3 townhomes, big, pretty large ones. I mean, if you just flip what's across the street and put it right there and put parking in back, and you've got 3 townhomes right there. I don't know how likely it is, but we'd open it up to RFP or development, just like we've done every other thing, and it could be absolutely redeveloped, which is what we're supposed to do.
Jacob's done some homework on the footprint and can't find it ever being a building there. So I don't think we'll have.
There was a building there.
Not since the,
1820?
I remember the
yeah,
building.
there were 2 houses there that I
Oh, yeah,
could
houses.
find in the 20s, but there's nothing else. Last.
Environmental wise, you're not
Oh,
really,
We're gonna have a gas station that was there, and
right, because that's the concern, like gas station on a little corner. you know.
Right.
Well, say, I'm not the oldest one on here. You have to be able to remember that stuff.
I remember Burger Chevrolet.
I had to look around here.
So with this, with the conditions under section P there, the purchase agreement submitted pending final approval from RDC, which is to meet on September 4th. Once approved by the board, condition will be removed. Is that what we want that condition to say, or should it be subject to an appraisal and final board approval? That could not happen until the appraisals come back. Because this makes it sound like if the decision we make today, we're buying it. We're buying it.
There's another question, is the seller already agreed to the amount, or you still have to make this decision, and then the seller can decide if they want more money?
Well, if we put a contingent in there that it's subject to appraisal and board approval, when the appraisal comes back, we could say whatever we want, the deal can be off, because we don't approve it.
But this would say for 110 with the appraisals, so if the appraisal is over, it'd still be 110, but if the appraisal is under,
But we don't have to give our approval.
right, if
Either
it's,
way.
right.
So the appraisal may come back at 150, and we just still don't approve it. Like, we've had conversations, we've had more time and we just say no.
The way I understand how it's going down is there's 2 offers that will be presented Friday.
Okay.
How we want to amend our condition the best we want to before then.
Yeah.
So if you say RDC approved it on the 4th, contingent on the appraisals, we would amend item F. They haven't received this yet.
Okay.
This is just, apparently she has 2 approved. I don't know how, but she has 2, and she's gonna present to this board
Yeah.
on Friday.
So you go in at full price then and say, based upon subject of the appraisal.
My guess ours is, I'm just guessing, my guess is ours is full price with conditions, and theirs isn't.
Theirs is just
probably
full price.
less with no conditions.
Oh.
That'd be my guess.
Right.
That's just a guess. And we're speculating if it's even that group.
Right.
I'm just assuming because of where it's
Yeah,
at,
it's just
they're
perfect
using
sense.
it, and It's common sense, it's probably them.
Yeah. I just don't want to be tied to it if the appraisal does come back. It'd be nice if we still had to give another approval, I guess.
Whatever, if you want to move forward and you vote, whatever verbiage you vote on, we'll get back with Andy,
Okay.
the realtor, and say this is the new verbiage for item F.
And if the appraisal comes in lower, you have to have council approval anyway.
So we
there's
could
another
use-
layer to it, where it comes in lower, they don't want to do it. You can't do it anyway.
So does that need to be in our conditions too? Because we could be,
Depending on the appraisal.
put ourselves in a pickle, yeah. So I guess, what do you think, Bill?
Well, it depends on what you want. If you don't want to pay more than appraised value, then you don't need to worry about council. That's not a.
Yeah.
If you don't want to pay more than appraisal, then you just say contingent on the appraisal. If you're okay with paying more than the appraisal,
Then we have to go to
you gotta
council.
list the council in there.
I think we almost have to, I don't know, I feel like we almost have to list council as a condition, or somehow list it at, if needed, subject to council approval. I don't know.
The average of the 2 appraisals is less than the offer amount, then
Sub,
contingent.
on council approval, that's just what we have to do. Yeah.
So are we wanting to modify before we vote? We want to,
First, do you want it? Before you get into the.
Terry, anything from Logan's
Language
Landing?
of how you
Do you guys have any opinion on this?
Interested in doing it.
I would love to see retail at the bottom and then a couple of apartments at the top, or have some rocks at the top. Everybody doing that, like the fence and the outside scape on the top of the one, that's what my vision would be.
Yeah, I like that.
But I would love to see it. I mean, condos are nice too, but I just love to see something downtown, businesses in it. We can even take some of the leftovers from Census Incubator, you know, she got so cool that. Yeah, you know,
It's like the Shark Tank here. You guys gonna get together?
yeah, I'd love to see foot traffic in that. For that.
Let's buy it. Cool.
Doesn't sound like anybody's necessarily against it.
So
Just the verbiage.
just make your approval with the verbiage you want for the, go back to Angie then. Whoever makes the motion.
So what do we want to modify? We want to modify section P1.
The motion would be.
We already got the appraisal up above.
Your motion would be to approve the purchase price of $110,000, contingent on the average of 2 certified appraisals meeting or exceeding the purchase price. If you want to continue with council,
Yeah,
Possible council approval.
yeah. With council approval if necessary, or something like that. I mean, we'll know if it's necessary, and we'll just have to let them know. If it comes back and it's too low, we're going, and we still want to move forward, we'll have to get council approval.
the more wordy and
Yeah.
confusing you make it, chances are we wouldn't get it because they just say, well, we'll just take that and whatever and be done.
Take 90 and go
So you
on.
Make it too like nebulous. Make it
Yeah.
right.
I just don't want us, like contractually, all of a sudden, we're supposed to buy this thing and we can't. So,
He just said that if it doesn't,
if it doesn't appraise,
if it doesn't appraise, we don't have to worry about it.
It'll be
We're gonna go 110, we're not gonna go any more than 110, we don't have to worry about it. Go in front of the council,
but
correct?
does that mean we don't want it? I guess that's where I'm just trying to, if it appraises at 100, do we not want it any longer? Because we want to, we no longer want to redevelop it?
No, I would say appraisal and under.
If you just say in the purchase agreement that it's contingent upon appraised value, if it doesn't come back at your purchase price, then you renegotiate at that time. Just, if it's contingent upon the appraisal value and it doesn't appraise, then it doesn't appraise. At that time, you have time to tell them, well, we are willing to
we can
pay.
do that.
You know, it's just,
I'd be fine with that. It'll take, just know it'll take, then we'll have to come back and it'll just extend it, but
We'll have special.
I mean, you have plenty of
special
time in your
meeting.
contract, it says October 31st.
Yep.
Plenty of time to negotiate for that time.
yeah, what do you think?
Trying to get 3%.
My name's got a real
All right, just subject to, yeah. So, the average of the 2 appraisals meeting or exceeding.
So do you want to make a motion to modify this resolution with what you're just saying?
I think that's on on it already.
It's already on there, okay.
Yeah, we just need to add it to the purchase agreement, right?
Resolution doesn't need change.
Right,
Yeah,
resolution's good.
I was gonna say, the purchase agreement already says it, right?
Here's what he's saying.
Oh.
Let's see, final approval from artists, which is, once approved.
I think it
Well-
says average of.
Where does it say the average appraisal?
I just said to pay for the appraisals.
No, on the purchase agreement,
Oh.
does it say the average of 2?
No, it just says subject to our approval today.
That's why they're amending things.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
Okay.
all it says. It just says based on our final approval at our RDC meeting on this one today. Once approved, the condition will be removed.
What you're approving is the resolution, but the minutes are protecting you, that you're amending the purchase.
Right. Yeah, I mean, right.
Yeah, I mean, your resolution is simply saying that you're willing to provide up to $116,000 in total for the purchase of the property. And anything that falls outside of those parameters, you're gonna have to
Come back.
you're gonna have to come back and redo. So if it comes back at 120,000,
If you guys go back and forth and end up at 98 a month from now, the resolution still covers it
Right.
because you're a number not to exceed.
Yeah. I'm not worried about the resolution, really. I was just worried about the purchase agreement and what that's kind of like
so just for
obligated
the purchase
to.
agreement, you'd be adding the average of 2 appraisals meeting or exceeding
Exceeding the purchase price.
110.
The offer price, yeah.
Okay. So for our purposes, we can just vote on the resolution as is, and then,
Well, but you would want to make that amendment to your purchase agreement.
right,
But
Yeah.
the resolution's fine.
right. So I don't think that, I mean, we can still modify the purchase agreement without changing the resolution, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and just vote on that first, and then we can, the other stuff just kind of boilerplate. Okay, so I will make a resolution. I will make a motion to accept, Resolution 2024-342, not to exceed $116,000, purchase of land, and I guess All Saints is the owner.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by a sign of aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. All right. You're both right there. Anything else you've got? Any updates?
Yeah,
You need to get their
Then
approval on making the
I was gonna
amendment.
say, you need to make an amendment to your purchase agreement and so they can be put in the notes or the minutes as to what you are requesting on the purchase agreement.
Okay. So do you want to make a motion?
Yeah.
With the words you just,
Yeah.
whatever you just said a few minutes ago?
yeah.
Say that again.
So I'll make a motion to amend the purchase agreement in section P to say it's subject to the average of 2 appraisals meeting or exceeding the offer price. That would do it.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor signify by sign of aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. The change to purchase agreement passes. All right. Now, you guys got anything? Uh-oh, Aaron's got some pictures.
Will be 2 seconds, maybe. You have anything?
No, go ahead.
Okay, all I have is, if you don't know, I will inform you that Lexington Village, the way the mailing is having to go is that we actually have to do a community mailbox instead of individuals having a mailbox. Due to the United States government making this change about 5 years ago. So, with that being said, that was not obviously the intent. So we've met with the postmaster out there and we've talked about that. With that being said, they don't purchase the mailboxes, obviously. So, I'll just show you kind of the locations we talked to with the postmaster. The blue would be the different locations, for people.
This is where they have to pick their mail up?
Unfortunately, yes.
So are they gonna, is this like a first move towards the rest of the city has to go something similar to this thing? Or is
So
it-
the change has been is that if there's a new subdivision development prior to the establishment of that regulation, they have to do this now. The only way you get away with it is if it was a subdivision, let's say like Hopper Edition, where they still have some lots to sell, but everybody else is on their own mailbox. they can continue on with their own mailbox. But anything that's new has to go through this. So if we were to create another subdivision, Chase and Davis, they're going to have a communal mailbox, or whatever we call it.
Can we include that little red house in there who has his own and say that the rest needs it their own?
This is Lexington.
I know, but I mean for Chase and Davis.
Oh, yeah, that'd be good.
No, because you don't own it.
We can include it in the TIF district.
It's already split out, it won't be part of your subdivision. Good
Come on,
try.
Aaron, get creative.
I'm sorry. I tried really hard to get creative with Postmaster, and I think 3 other people that had dealt with mail before tried to get them to change their mind. It's just not happening. But anyway, so I'm sitting around, or I'll let you guys look. This is, so we have 22 lots on the High Street side, and then we have almost 30, 29 I think, or 30 on the Yorktown side. So for a 28, because they only do like 21 to 28 to 35, so that's helpful. We can't just get 22. Anyway, for a 28 unit is 1445, so 1,445, and then a 35, on the back of it. For a 35 mailbox is $8,806. Right now, if you look at the Dingo property, it is common space on that lot. Currently, we don't really have common space other than the pond on the other side. So, I put it there, but I felt like it would be better, and so the postmaster would be kind of more in the center. We don't really have a pull-off, so anyway, they could come on Corporal Sanchez and park there because there's no real houses off that. We would have to create an easement of some sort on lot, what is that, 19. Anyway, there'll be a concrete pad and then these installed. So I haven't gotten the estimates of concrete pad. I will get all that information for you. I'm just giving you a heads up.
So, I mean, that could be a house. 19 could be a house, right? I mean,
19's a house.
yeah, so I've got a house, and in the corner of my lot, I'm gonna have a mailbox.
Everybody's mailbox.
And everybody's driving by and stopping on right there to get their mail.
Possibly, but it'd be facing the corner. So there's a sidewalk that's actually on the south side that it would tie into.
I mean, that doesn't sound ideal.
Well, the other
Could you not put
ones,
something like
we could.
when you came in the entry?
But then we would be creating an off pull, I mean, we don't have anywhere for people to pull off. We could put it there and then people have to get out of their car and get their mail. The reason why Postmaster thought that was a good location is because it's in the center.
So they're doing this throughout the whole United States?
Yeah.
That's funny. There's properties down in where her mom's from, 52,000 people in an area.
Yeah, so you
52,000
can
neighborhood.
So you can put as
52,000
many,
houses.
so they said, we could put, one here and one there.
What
and
can they
one
just let us do
there,
52 of them?
But it has to be the community.
Yeah, the whole
mailbox.
city will have the mailboxes.
Huh, interesting. I mean, is there any chance,
So then they start having Amazon boxes too.
Well, so if it doesn't fit in your mailbox, it'll still be taken to your house and dropped off at your front door. I asked that. But they won't deliver individual mail. Yeah, so anyway, I can bring this up to you guys at a later date after I get the concrete pad cost estimate in there. I just want to give you a heads up. Now, if you guys want to put it on the pond area, we can do that. Just noting that we don't really have a,
pull off? So, what's lot 10, Aaron? That's the church?
oh no, that is the Frontier building. It's a little
Frontier.
barn.
So that's not our property.
It is, they have an
Oh.
easement on it, so we just created a lot.
So 10 is our property?
Yes, but you would also be servicing the south side too. So you can put 2 boxes, so you can put 1 box there, and you can put 1 box on the south side.
I just think that would be where you're not on somebody's property, they're just gonna get a house on.
No, so 22, that's
Yes.
shown there is common ground.
Oh, okay, I heard you mention,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, it's
That
the
is not gonna be a
19.
house.
Yeah,
22
the
is not.
19 would be the only one, and
okay.
actually 19 has sidewalk there.
Okay.
Well, is proposed to have sidewalk, so it would be connecting to that sidewalk. So we could move it to 23, it's just that, you know, you wouldn't be walking to
That's
it.
a big turnoff to me.
Yeah, that's weird. You can't get your mail.
They did submit a permit for that lot, just recently, so I did ask John to talk to the people that are looking to purchase that lot and build. So it may be, because we don't have an easement on it right now, so it may be a no but void, but that's where the postmaster thought would be most appropriate, because you could walk to it since it's centrally located.
That's the most expensive.
There's, yeah.
By far.
Yeah. it's-
What's that?
So we could put it,
For
at- I
lot
said,
19?
but at least their mail would be right there, and it faces the road.
And everybody's.
So it's a favorite, it's a preferential deal,
I said sell it that way. But we could move it to the pond, just knowing that,
There's no pull-off.
The only thing I would say is, we for a while had a contract with Amazon to put boxes at our store. They then at the last minute changed and said they were gonna start putting them into neighborhoods like, or subdivisions like this. So we ought to think of that ahead if down the road, they wanna put Amazon in that same, I mean, that's their plan. I mean,
yeah, I don't know.
I know it'd be more expensive, but should we make a pull-off? I mean, with that, then we'd have to get rid of some curbing and then put it on 23?
That side, so the pond has the sidewalk already and curbing.
So the curbing would have to go in, the sidewalk would have to go away, and we'd have to create a pull-off.
could you pull in at the very end of 23 here and then before starts swooning down?
You would be making another road, and there's not enough room there for where the pond is, to come off of High instead of the road.
Yeah, it's pretty thin there, but down by 22, it seems like if you had a spot where you could pull
Yeah,
in.
you could have something there, I just don't know, I mean, you would be removing, if it was just curb, I would
Curbing
say maybe,
and sidewalk.
but we put the sidewalk there. Because that's where it's supposed to connect up to the rest of it. Again, we're talking to the people that are interested in building on that site, so we'll see. It's a 2x2 space.
I know. Right there, right in the corner, so I know you think people aren't gonna stop their car there because it's walkable. They're gonna stop their car right at the intersection.
Driveway.
They're gonna stop their car right there.
What we were thinking of
That-
doing, talking to the postmaster, was facing it towards Corporal Sanchez, because there's not, like, so if you were pulling off, you could pull off on it. I don't know, there's not a good location, because that was not in the mind frame at all when this was developed, because we did not know that that was a stipulation on any new subdivision.
Do you
Now
think
we know.
the movie theater would let us do anything on that little drive that juts out on the west side of there? I wonder if that Deaf and Ball would entertain it, even if we needed to.
We really wanted that road, so we put it in. It originally wasn't.
Jeff and Ball did.
At the end of the day, we can change the
So that- I
locations
mean, we
of
did
where
something
this
for him.
is.
Yeah.
That's just meeting
Okay.
the postmaster out there.
Yeah.
The end of the day, we're gonna have, let's say $6,000 wrapped up in
Post office box.
We're paying more to cut the
Got it.
grass.
So you're just informing us of that.
You'll be losing some grass area, as Mike
So that'll
stated.
save some money on the road.
Except for now, they have to weed eat around.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
exactly.
that'll be worse.
Ironically, it's a staff reduction initiative.
Oh, I'm sure it
First
is.
house is a mailman.
Yeah, the way that
Yeah, he tried to talk to him
That first
too.
house that's almost done is a mailman.
it's right there.
So he was one of the.
I think we should talk to the movie theater. Like if we had that road put in there and we did that for them,
Yeah, we connect, they had a stub already, we just connected to it.
you know, but maybe we should talk to him. Like all we need is what you say, 2x2 space. And then he's gonna have vehicles pulling in, pulling out. I don't know if he wants that, but maybe it's worth at least asking a question.
Good.
I think that'd be a better situation than somebody stopping in the road, especially at an intersection to get their mail.
So the other, on the Dingo side,
Yeah. Oh, shit.
I don't know that you'd have enough room to do a pull-off, but that side, I don't think there's any sidewalk currently, so you could look into that on that side.
Okay.
But it is right after you turn in, so,
That's Corporal Sanchez, so this must be Dingo.
Okay.
and then people swinging out around to go north on Dingo. or,
Yeah.
you know. to the north side, so.
Okay, well,
Anyway, locations, we can
okay.
talk all we
Later.
want. I
Got it,
just,
$6,000.
yeah, but we have one person that's moving into a house, so
Maybe this would.
we have to
So we need
figure
to
it
figure it
out
out.
sooner than later.
Yeah.
I think, I get it. I think I'd
Oh,
look
did I? I
at
didn't.
another option. That's my opinion.
We can also pick a different one, I just picked the one that had the amount that we could.
Yeah.
I mean, most places have
weird.
like,
It's just gonna be
right
on
when you
the
pull in,
corner
there's a
of-
place there for it.
Property. That is weird.
I
That's why
tried,
it
more
seems
to
like
the
this
counter
would be
tried,
better
and the person that's
Right.
moving in is
That's
there.
wherever you.
Right, that's the thing.
I would much prefer that be, I would really follow with that ball. It's not on the main drag. It's not in front of a house.
So when
It's,
you're coming
you have to pull in, pull off, open it.
Stop.
You
Yeah, we
can
can
park,
talk
you're
to
not
it
bothering
later.
anybody. That's my recommendation. Got it. Wow, this is a marathon. What else?
Okay. Anything else?
Hey, Aaron, just for,
Hey, Mike.
that 6,000 could come out of the construction, right?
Oh,
Out of the construction, bond?
Yeah, I mean.
I mean, that's just for you guys' knowledge. I mean, you would not have to take that out of anything. It's already there.
That's good.
And you've got 35,000, 39,
30-something. I saw that.
36,000 in there.
I saw
So I
that.
mean, you still have money available, no matter which way you go, that you'd be able to use that.
Okay.
So it wouldn't be like dipping into another fund.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
And I don't, that was just my number, because I don't know what the concrete pads would be.
Right.
And
Just
if
for
we
your-
do a pull off.
Just for your numbers, the 4 houses that are going up
Yeah.
are projected to be about $15,000 in property taxes. So we've gotten a fourth of the way there on, well,
Yeah, because we need 49,000 to service the,
Yeah, so, and then Junction will start going up fast now because with the new stuff coming, the 5 below is gutted now, demolition's complete,
that's to the west of Dunham's.
the walls are up, the sewer cuts are happening right now. And then next week, you'll start seeing the Sears take charge.
Good.
They have until January 1st on that.
it's here.
Marshalls and Ollie's.
Thanks, TJ.
Thank you, TJ. We'll see it.
So you'll see those assessments start to
Yeah.
really bounce up now.
Well, that's great on the houses, and that was for payable in '26 when we need to have the 49,000, so we have another year. 'Cause
All of next year, you already have through interest
25
reserve
payments.
through the bond. So you're looking at May of '26,
Right.
basically 2 years from now,
To get another, we need
or whatever
We're
the
a
number
third of the
is.
way there.
Yeah.
And if they're done before March, then they should,
They'll all be assessed.
yeah, for that year.
These 4 definitely will be on the
Right.
tax roll.
and then all of next year's could be assessed. Right.
Yeah,
So,
I don't, is it March, though, that they have to be constructed by to
There's a-
assess them for
there's
the
a
next
weird-
year?
There's a date.
okay,
Whether it's either May 1st or.
whatever can happen through spring.
I mean, I thought it was March 31st, but I don't know.
Okay,
2 of them
It's
are local.
early in the year, I guess.
okay.
Yeah, and
And I cleared out the room with the post box.
Yeah, really. Drop like flies. All right, thank you, guys.
any public comments? No, any board member comments? No? Okay.
Mike, I just have to I do say I appreciate everything you do. I don't want my comments to come off as me not thinking you're doing enough. I get your emails.
It smacks in the face later.
Anything that feels if that tells you anything, like, how-
Yeah.
What's he going, what's he
Well,
going? Oh, man.
Bob's resigned and my papers are about filled out now.
What is the plan for Bob?
You gotta move to adjourn
Bob
first before.
Bob has been asked to be on the utility service board,
Yeah.
and for whatever reason, he acted to me like as if he couldn't be on both boards.
I thought that's what.
And then I asked somebody here earlier, and they said, well, this is an unpaid board, so it's not like it's a monetary thing, so I'm not sure if there's a,
Maybe it was just him personally
That
that
could
he
be.
didn't have the time.
that could be. But at this point, like, the mayor's office needs to appoint somebody.
Yeah, because really, we do need it, we know we should need that filled.
Well, we get conflicts and stuff like that, so.
Is that, you're gonna reach out to him, Mike, you want me to reach out?
Well, I mentioned it again today, I said, I mean, Bill has made some recommendations to him, but apparently kicked Todd Miller off the utility service board, so Bill asked if he wanted to be on this board, and he said no. He may be stinging still, but.
Mike, did you adjourn, or are you adjourning
Oh, I'm
at
sorry.
1:36?
This meeting's adjourned.
Okay.
Thanks, I'm,
Exactly.
It's like a record length.